adapted to film, what is the #1 challenge you see in the films?
The #1 challenge that you see, I guess it depends on the story. So the #1 challenge is to make it feel fresh. I mean, we've all seen The Notebook or whatever. How do you make The Longest Ride different? How do you make it stand out? How do you make it seem as though you could watch The Notebook and then turn around and watch The Longest Ride and enjoy both of them and feel that they were different? And how do you make that different than Message in a Bottle or Walk to Remember? It's making them really good, you know, staying on brand, but making them different. That's always the biggest challenge.
You've played in several television shows as well as film. Which do you prefer?
Oh, I kind of like to switch around. Like, I mean, I miss television. It's been a bit since I've done it now. It's been well over a year. But you know, it's just completely different for me because with a film, you know what you're gonna get. You have like an arc, and it's very clear, and this is your story, and you know how to tell it. With television, it's always a surprise, and there's just something about television with like the relationships you create with your crew members and your cast, and it becomes very much like camp that lasts forever kind of thing. So I do miss that aspect of television and just being surprised every week. But I do also love knowing what I get with a movie and a film and having that story and being able to complete it and do my research and all that jazz. So it depends on what day, you know?
And Britt, since this is going to be seen as such a big breakout role, even though you guys have had great careers thus far, what are you hoping to channel that to in future projects? Like, what do you really want to get to do in your careers?
Awesome question. Scott and I talk about this a lot, just in terms of career and what we want out of it. And for me, it's just about attaching myself to projects that I can really dig my teeth into and that I'm really passionate about. And for a long time, I just would do any movie that would take me so I could have experience, you know. I mean, I started out when I was like 13, so any opportunity was a good opportunity for me.
Yeah.
And now with this vehicle, hopefully I can just pick and choose very carefully, you know, film here, film there, very luxurious lifestyle. This is what I'm imagining in my head. I don't know if it actually works out that way.
Well, I hope it works, especially with Tomorrowland as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you guys both have some incredible projects coming up with Snowden and that, both films, you know. So, I mean, I think you really will get that chance, and you know, I hope, yeah.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Yes, exactly. So, and what attracted you guys to this role?
Oh, well, sorry. You want to go first? I went first last time. Go for it.
I liked it because I thought that, well, I was a fan of The Notebook,
Sure.
but I liked it because I thought that it had a great guy element to it as well. I like sort of testosterone-driven films, and I thought that it would be cool for guys because the world of PBR was so cool. Just like, you know, NFL, we had the PBR there, and they were part of the film, so I thought it would have a grit to it.
Very cool.
Well, there were so many draws initially that got me to the audition, but ultimately it was working with George Thomas Jr. in the audition and really seeing eye to eye with him on the kind of movie that he was trying to make.
Scott is a jumping off point here, but if you want to weigh in, Britt, go ahead.
Yeah.
I noticed you have this little bit of medical tape on your finger through a lot of the film, even when you're dressed up.
Yeah.
Is that a character thing? And
Yeah.
do you guys have little details that help you get deeper in character?
Yeah.
I guess so. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, I did. We kept that sort of a thread line through. You know, these guys are getting hurt all the time. It's not just, you know, they are riding hurt all the time. And even if they are hurt, they're driving 10 hours to the next city to, you know, just to get a chance to win some money. And they're putting their ass on the line, and so they're always hurt. So we try to throw little pieces of flavor through the character.
Oh, details? Oh, got it. Sorry. I mean, I think there's so many opportunities to do things like that. I mean, for me, with this character and in this movie in particular, my character Sophia is an art history major, and she's going to college, and she lives in a sorority house. So, you know, talking with the production designer and just creating a world that represented her in that atmosphere. And it's always things like that, you know, whether it be wardrobe or hair and makeup, things to influence the character in that way, because it helps you embody the character.
So this one's for all three of you. You guys look like you had so much fun throughout the entire film, even in the more serious moments that we saw, especially with you two. Like, it looked like it was just such a fun process. So what was the funnest part for each of you?
For me, it was getting the editing right on the bull riding. Because we knew we had that, and we knew we had the opportunity to do something that had never been seen before on the film. We've seen bull riding, PBR does it every week, okay? And Hollywood has done its version of bull riding, but never has Hollywood and PBR come in where PBR says, hey, put your camera here, and Hollywood says, we're gonna give you the ultra camera in history to film it. That's that super slow-mo. So that, watching the way it came together was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it looked awesome. Say that.
It was awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah, the crew. Sometimes you're on movies and you may not like the people you're doing the movie with. But this experience, everyone was all really good people and professional, and we just had a great time.
Yeah. It's funny that you say it looks like we had a good time even when we were doing like the fighting scenes or the emotional scenes, and it's true now looking back on it. I mean, I remember in the moment I was hating every minute of it, trying to get those scenes right. I remember those gallery scenes, just like running back and forth, trying to figure out how to make this scene work. And now looking back on it, I realize like that is so much fun for me, having that challenge, being an actor. That's what you look for. You want to make it right. And I remember being so motivated to make that scene work, and it was kind of an empowering thing, having control over the energy and the emotion. So even the little things like that, creating those moments were fun for me.
Maya?
You're up.
Cool. This is for all three of you guys. Was there ever a point in your lives that you can talk about that you've experienced some sort of crossroad similar to in the film, had to decide between two things you really wanted or something like that?
Yeah, sure, right? Leave my family, years ago, 25 years ago, leave the family, my brothers and sisters, my father, and move across country. Sure, life is the only certainty in life is change, right? It's miracles. This has been a philosophy forever. So life is all about crossroads, and it's what we do when we get there, and then when we emerge on the other side, how we respond, right? And that's what life is.
I think, I think for me, the bigger ones will come in the next coming years or next coming decade, because eventually I might want to have a family or be in a long-term relationship. And then that's pretty hard to do sometimes in this business. So you might have to make sacrifices or make big life decisions.
I mean, for me, honestly, just in this career growing up in the industry, I started out so young, and I feel like I'm always at a crossroads, honestly. I mean, there are so many times where I'm conflicted on what I want to do. I went back to school when I was shooting a television show in Wilmington at one point, because I was like, what? I think I'm going to try something else. And I love that about this industry, because it gives me opportunities to think outside the box. I can still try and be an actor and pursue other things. And crossroads happen, and you have to make choices, but that's part of life, I guess.
Cool. Thank you.
I've been married for 46 years.
Okay.
And I'm still romantic. That feels like this is the true love of my life. Do you want the viewers to be there with that kind of notion, and do you personally think that that's desirable or possible for you?
I think I think the biggest thing that I wanted to do was to just make Sophia and Luke's story different than Ruth and Ira's. So if there's a short, this one by proxy has to be long. It's also, what can I do that's different? Because by making so much difference in those ways, you can see that the emotion, the way they feel about each other, is the same. It was the same in 1940s. When Ruth and Ira fall in love, it feels like Luke and Sophia, and that's the thing. Emotions change a lot more slowly than the rest of the world, right? They just do, and people always seem to be amazed by that. So I'm not trying to illustrate any point at all. Ira's life worked for him and Ruth, right? It worked for them. Right? Noah and Allie's worked for them.
Right. I learned, how has like the wisdom from your own marriage affected like how you write about these different relationships? Because I know you've been married for a really long time, and how do you think you draw on that?
I think that whenever you write a novel, you draw on all life experiences. And you're drawing on, because you have to pull bits and pieces to create everything from a setting to an emotion to a character. And so you'll pull ideas from wherever, right? You'll just pull ideas from wherever. I do have a few underlying philosophies. I'm a glass half full kind of person. You know, I'm going to try to be positive. A lot of people are glass half empty. I'm the opposite. And I do believe that love is the source of all passion, you know, in the world. And I'm not necessarily talking only about romantic love, but if you don't love anything, you know, life is kind of sad. I mean, your siblings, your parents, your friends, your neighbors, your job, your dogs, anything, right? If you don't love anything, you know, you don't have passion about anything. And it's the passion that really gives life meaning, because it's the opening up of this possibility that maybe it'll work, and maybe it won't, but at least you're living, right? And that, to me, I guess, are the philosophies I tend to write with.
All right, so in the movie, y'all eat comfort food and talk about comfort food. So I want to know, what is each of your favorite comfort food? And I want to know if you have a comfort movie, since we all love movies. So.
Mine would be chicken and dumplings, which I had so much of when I was in North Carolina. I frequent the Cracker Barrel. I don't know if you've heard of it, you Texans, but they have an incredible chicken and dumplings dish that soothes the soul. And my favorite comfort movie, I try to put in something like, I love Pretty Woman. It was one of my favorite films from the get-go, and it always cheers me up or makes me feel something. And it's my go-to.
I'd say Mexican food, probably, from California. So a lot of great Mexican food in California. And then movie-wise, like comfort movie-wise, I'd say my top 3 movies are Unforgiven, Forrest Gump, and Braveheart. Those are I'd say top 3.
Those are your comfort movies?
Comfort
Yeah, comfort movie, that's the question.
Oh, probably, I guess maybe Blazing Saddles.
Okay. Sure.
You can watch that on repeat.
I'll take it.
How about for you?
I'll do, if I comfort food, stewed chicken. I make a big stewed chicken, so that's what I'll do. Comfort movie, you know, if I'm, and I pull it out all the time, I'll pull out the Green Mile. I just like, yeah.
Dark.
Well, you know, like if I'm struggling writing, you know, I'll put it in for background noise, right? I thought the performances were great. It's long, right? You know, you can get some good work in.
You said last night you like Stevie.
I do.
You know, there's people that want Scott here to play the main character in, what is that, Dark Tower? So it's kind of
The
a Western.
Gunslinger.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Did not know that.
There's a online
calling my agent.
Yeah.
Oh my! I want a cowboy!
You are pretty smooth for a country boy.
Trying to impress you.
It's kind of working.
I've got this thing.
I do not need any distractions.
Gonna blow your mind.
You are the only girl I know who wouldn't have a fling with a cowboy.
I met a girl.
You meet girls all the time.
Not like this.
I've never felt this way about anybody.
The Longest Ride, rated PG-13.